Hi everyone. So you may have seen our recent video where we did a beach, I guess beach waves on a small little cutting board, cheese board type thing. So for this one I wanted to use the bloom recipe and use acrylic pour and then do some resin over it. So I'm just laying down some house paint here. I use Glidden, and I'll put it in the description box for you. I'm trying to get that to look somewhat straight without looking too straight. It's a little more difficult with paint, I think, because it's not in a squeeze bottle or something I can control. So what you can't see is that I have the bottom of the board taped with painter's tape so that I can easily get the drips off when it's over. I primarily am using Colourarte pigments, but I am using a little bit of tube paint. I'm using Greenish Blue Amsterdam and Bright Iridescent Gold by Golden. But the rest will be Colourarte pigments. So I did speed this up a little bit. I'm just adding a little bit to the top, so I was still trying to decide if I wanted to do like a swipe or blooms. Now I will tell you, this night that I painted, I noticed that I was using some white cell activator I had mixed up for quite a while, and it seemed to have lost its elasticity, and I did not get very good cells on this pour and on a subsequent pour, and it took me a while to figure out that it was my cell activator. I thought I was just having an off night. So those two colors I just laid down first are Pixie Dust, was the first one, and Firefly by Colourarte. And this here is Greenish Blue by Amsterdam. It's just like a color no one wants to live without. And I had really no idea at this point what to expect. There's some Boysenberry by Colourarte. So I just kind of poured a couple of puddles. Some more Firefly. Because I've seen people do cheese boards with the bloom recipe, but I've never done a very good job with blowing out multiple blooms at one time. That is Vavoom Red, another favorite of mine. A little more of the golden gold. Actually, that's the first time I put the golden gold down. It was a little thick. So that's my white cell activator. Now you can kind of tell when you put the cell activator, you see how you don't see any like cloudiness around the edges? Sometimes that's a good indicator, sorry about my big head, that it may not do what you want it to do. It started to sell up sort of okay, but it was like super awkward to try to blow. And again, I'm so sorry, my head's in the way. There was just no way for me to get around that. And I think I end up adding some paint because I didn't really want it to be so spread out. So it ends up kind of looking just like an abstract acrylic painting versus it actually being very bloomy. It definitely looks like the bloom recipe, but I don't know, the best cell result I end up having is on the handle, and everything else just kind of slides off. So, but it was a fun first time experiment. And under the resin, it really does look beautiful. See how thick my cell activator was? I should have known. And here I got I blew it into the paint because it was awkward trying to get to it right there. And I was going to add more, and I was like, am I going to mess it up worse? And that just did like nothing for it. But sometimes it's fun to experiment, and that's what we did here. Again, I'm so sorry you're seeing so much of my head. But I try to film every time I'm painting so that if something really cool happens, it gets captured. So I decided, let's make sure we do something on the edge here. I did really enjoy trying it. It was something new, you know. Obviously, charcuterie boards and cheese boards and all that are pretty in right now. So I started off on a smaller surface that was maybe not as expensive, just to see. It was right before we did this market thing, so I was like, let me see what kind of attention it gets, what kind of people stop and look at it, ask questions about it, before I do bigger boards. You know, I had looked up some on Etsy, and so it was just a fun thing to try. I don't know what I was doing there. Oh, trying to cover up the hot mess in the middle. Isn't this crazy that, like, you can paint something just a few days ago and then you go back and just do a voiceover and you don't remember doing that? But now I kind of do. It's just crazy how in the moment you're like, okay, I gotta fix this. It's just wild. See, it's hard to see from up here, but I think the cell activator had basically thickened up. And what makes Australian Floetrol sort of like the cell activator magic is it has like this great elasticity, for the lack of a better word. And when it's right, you can kind of see how it looks. Like when you lay it on your paint, it sort of has this like cloudy look around, like a ring around the edge. And you know it's going to work better. After this, I tried to do a set of coasters, and I ended up having to scrape some of them because I could not get the right result. I'm using a little acetone to get that paint off that edge. It wasn't until I made the last coaster that I was like, I wonder if it's the cell activator. And sure enough, I mixed up a new batch, and I was like, come on, why did it take me all night to figure that out? It's okay, now I know. I was like, did I forget how to paint? The whole night I was super frustrated. So I just sort of tilted it until I got somewhat of a composition I liked. I really liked the way it turned out. It was very different than what I had in mind, whatever that was. I did try to kind of tilt to get the paint down so it would be a little bit more even. I ended up keeping that little white edge. Sorry, I get out of frame pretty often. Sorry about that. So as you can see, I repurposed my K-cups and I use them to prop things up on. Works great. And this, I do end up resining, and I'll try to remember to show a little clip of the finished product. My friend was there painting with me, and so she gave us a thumbs up. But honestly, I think it turned out really pretty. So I'd love to hear your feedback. Please comment and give us a like and subscribe. All of our social media is below, as well as the recipe for the bloom technique. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Okay, so here it is under some resin. Look at those pigments. Thanks again for watching.